People have called me a hero, a killer, a saint, and a psychopath. They even used to say the first three all in the same sentence: hero, killer, saint. My name's Mark Theo Carter, and until recently I lived a completely unremarkable life. Last 5 years I hardly worked a day and more or less lived off welfare. If someone else wants to do something for me, I'm not gonna stand in their way. The only thing most of you would find interesting about my last 5 years is that I killed 16 people. Only got charged for 4 of them, but that was enough for the life sentence. I did the first one not too long after I quit my job. My latest relationship had just broken down and I was going through some shit. Killing someone wasn't exactly on my things to do list, but you know, the right situation crops up and you never know what might happen. It was late at night on a Wednesday and I was walking through a park when I came across what looked like a couple of teenagers having some fun. Not many people go in the dark spots around there, but I seek them out. When I get closer, I see the guy has his hand clamped down on the girl's mouth and there's something glinting in the moonlight. He sees me and freaks a bit, holding what I can now see is a knife to her throat. I say to him, "You ever done this before, boy?" Holding that little butter knife like you're ready to spread marmalade on toast. I'm real close now. I can see his pants are halfway down. If you don't mind me getting her a little messy, I can show you a trick or two with your Swiss Army. The guy stares at me for a long moment. He recognizes a stronger male. The girl so scared she can hardly move a muscle. I crouch down behind her head and look the guy straight in the eyes. He's curious, so he hands me the knife. The last mistake he would ever make. He collapses in a heap of bleeding, dead shit. I pull his body away from the girl and offer her my hand. She lies there whimpering, naked. I pull her to her feet and send her on her merry way. I got off without so much as a wrist slap for that one girl. Told the court he attacked me and I somehow managed to take his weapon and defend myself. Media called me a hero and the girl's family were ready to knight me. The second guy didn't get me quite the same reception. I'd been helping my brother load electronics into his store at 3 a.m. I drove off when I was done, but came back 10 minutes later because I forgot my wallet. Now, there's this guy in there stuffing cameras into a garbage bag. I go up to him and he spins around to find my fist, breaking his nose. I pull him down, grabbing a fistful of his long Fabio hair. Makes it real easy to smash his head into the ground. It was years later before they pinned it on me, but if I hadn't killed the fucker, I might not have got life. Before my trial, all the shrinks agreed I was a psychopath. Most people wouldn't have the first clue what this means. You see movies with complete crazies killing people at random or making skin suits or whatever, but that's not what a psycho is. Quite simply, we're people who don't feel guilt, remorse, Empathy, that's the biggest distinction between you and me. It doesn't mean we're naturally wired to kill or that we enjoy it or seek it out. We just don't feel anything when it happens. It's like drinking a cup of fucking tea. The third guy took a swipe at my face after I told him to stop graffitiing the walls, and a minute later I choked the little dick to death. 4, 5, 6 were all in similar fashion, young fuck-ups doing something antisocial in my face, who did not heed my polite advice. I have a physiological reason not to give a toss about the inhumanity we're all a part of. What's your excuse? Don't you reckon that makes you worse than me? Anyway, you didn't come here sitting behind that safety glass like cowards to find out how miserable you are. This is about Theo Carter and his 16 victims. 7 was drunk and picked a fight with me. 8 and 9 were drug dealers from my old high school peddling shit in my neighborhood. I told them where to go and one of them pulled a gun. So I shot them both through the eyes. 11 through 15. Boring. Let's move on. So the last guy was known to me. I used to get Christmas cards from him after I saved his life 8 years back. I was a lifeguard then, and I saved his stupid ass. A few years later, he bumps into my friend Sam from the surf club, buys her a few drinks, ends up taking her home. She gets cold feet as the beer goggles wear off, but he doesn't take no for an answer, and he rapes her. She's too scared to go to the cops, so he gets away with it until he walks into me in the street. I saved this fucker's life, and he thanks the world by sexually assaulting my friend. If this prick had drowned, he wouldn't have been around to rape Sam. I do society a much bigger favor by icing the people I know are bad than by saving those who may or may not be good. So I took the only weapon I had, a pen, and I stabbed this guy in the neck in the middle of the street. Everyone started screaming, and he fell onto the ground and tried to crawl away, bleeding all over the damn place. I watched him for 3 whole minutes before some cop had his gun in my face, and before you know it, I'm in the slammer with a life sentence. Anyway, that's my story. Make of it what you will and judge me as you see fit. God knows I'm judging you, hypocritical shitbags. I'm Theo Carter. Hero. Killer. Saint.